right now at 7.
This is probably the most exciting day of 2020, maybe the most exciting day in the last 20 years.
Tonight, a new chapter in the coronavirus pandemic. Vaccines now providing a shot of relief in the Bay Area. We're live.
What I want you guys to know is that help is on the way. Today's just the first step.
They ask a lot of questions, which is good.
Is door-to-door testing really working? We tag along in one Bay Area county to see for ourselves.
And tonight, Bay Area EMTs and first responders stretched thin. What it means for resources and manpower.
The hospitals and the caregivers and the nurses and the doctors are telling us they are at their limits.
Right now on the KPIX 5 News at 7 and streaming on CBS and Bay Area, 4 hospitals now have more than 17,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine. Hospitals in Eureka, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego. Good evening. I'm Ken Bastida.
And I'm Elizabeth Cook. KPIX 5's Andrea Borba joins us from Zuckerberg General, which got its first shipment earlier today. Andrea?
Well, Elizabeth, the doses came in here this morning, and they say that they will be injected starting tomorrow.
The first doses of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine were injected into arms across the state today. ER nurse Kim Taylor of Los Angeles got injection 1 of 2 today. She was the first in the state.
We frontline workers have been working around the clock over the past 9 months, sacrificing so much of what we do and love to take care of our patients. We've been doing this while trying to take care of our own families and keep them safe. What I want you guys to know is that help is on the way. Today's just the first step.
Doses arrived in California via FedEx late last night and today. 2,000 of those went to Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital this morning.
Obviously, it's incredibly important that we vaccinate people as quickly as possible, and we will be keeping the public updated on progress in that regard.
Vaccinations will begin tomorrow morning in San Francisco for healthcare workers. 975 doses are headed to UCSF as well as the city of Berkeley. John Muir in Walnut Creek is expecting 5,000 doses. Stanford has this ultra cold storage freezer waiting for the vaccine. Coast Guard Island in Alameda will be another point of distribution. And the initial allocation will not be the last for 2020.
Tomorrow, 24 additional sites will receive the vaccine, an additional 5 sites on Wednesday. You'll get a sense of the cadence as these vaccine numbers grow, as more and more vaccines are delivered. 33,150 doses were received today here in the state of California. Part of the commitment from Pfizer to provide the state of California 327,600 doses. We are hopeful and enthusiastic about the prospect of Moderna following up after Pfizer with an additional 672,600 doses, potentially within a week or so.
Now, it's not just this one allocation, of course, for the state of California and the Bay Area. On December 21st, California will get a second allocation of the Pfizer vaccine. And then right before the end of the year, right before December 31st, a third allocation of the Pfizer vaccine will hit the Golden State. Live in San Francisco tonight, Andrea Borba, KPIX 5.
They couldn't come soon enough. Thank you, Andrea. Because it comes as coronavirus deaths surpassed 300,000 in the U.S. And for the 4th straight day, California has reported more than 30,000 new cases, plus 77 more deaths. And the 14-day positivity rate is now 10.5%.
Take a live look at San Jose, where tonight Santa Clara County is ramping up efforts to quarantine people exposed to COVID. But as KPIX 5 has learned about a homeless man who fell through the cracks. His name is Edwin Vasquez. He was diagnosed with coronavirus. He was discharged from the hospital and returned to the only place he had left to go, a tent, where he's living along Coyote Creek. The county eventually put him in a hotel to recover and quarantine, but public health officials acknowledge he should have gotten help a lot sooner.
We also have systems in place to identify people when they're sick and don't have a place to go. If they are leaving the hospital, get them to one of those hotel rooms as seamlessly as possible.
He got discharged back to the encampment, which I think is crazy.
Tonight, Santa Clara County is taking extra measures to get people tested. KPIX 5's Kit Doe reports they don't even have to leave home to do it.
Santa Clara County continues to lead the pack, not just in the number of tests, but also how they're testing. Today is the third day of door-to-door COVID testing, and they say, so far, so good.
They ask a lot of questions, which is good.
Olivia Ortiz is a promotores, a community worker hired by the county to go door-to-door in East San Jose to offer COVID tests. Ortiz says convincing complete strangers to submit a nasal swab actually hasn't been that hard.
I can relate to those people, you know, so I'm like, what would work best for me? That's what I see it. What would work best for me? Well, I mean, somebody coming to my house and someone that I know, someone that speaks my language, you know, someone that looks like me, you know.
We are still figuring out what a good day looks like because every encounter is different.
Dr. Analilia Garcia is a senior manager of racial and health equity and says the pilot project has 4 teams of 2 people each focused on East San Jose. They administer an observed self-collection test. It's done outdoors. The teams wear ID badges and post neighborhood flyers ahead of time.
Their approach is really genuine and, you know, comes from the heart. And the secret sauce to this work is them.
Maria Ocampo, an employee at the San Jose Convention Center, says she would welcome the testers if they came to her home.
Me interesa estar saludable. So if they would knock on my door, of course I would be interested in staying healthy. I like to stay protected. I always wear a mask. I rarely leave my home.
But you would do it.
Heck yeah!
George Garcia says getting it done at home without having to wait in line is a no-brainer.
If you had the right credentials, says, look, I'm here to give you the shot or the test, and everything looks legit, yeah, of course.
In San Jose, Kit Doe, KPIX 5.
Take a live look at San Francisco right now, where the city is seeing more cases of COVID-19 than ever before. Hospitalizations are at an all-time high as well. Officials are saying that new cases surged 50% after Thanksgiving. Last week, the average number of people testing positive was over 200. The total number of cases now stands at more than 18,000.
The pandemic is putting a strain on first responders across the Bay Area. From resources to manpower to physical endurance, 2020 has brought unprecedented challenges for all healthcare workers. And that goes for the helicopter teams used to transport critically ill patients to the ground units driving those ambulances. And while there's news of a vaccine, there's still no exact timetable for where EMS personnel fall in that line.
Right now, we're really kind of at the mercy of the county and the mercy of the state on when our personnel receive the vaccine. Certainly as frontline healthcare responders and emergency responders, we would hope to be prioritized high on the list, but a lot of that remains to be seen.
The hospitals and the caregivers and the nurses and the doctors are telling us they are at their limit. They are telling us they are overwhelmed.
EMS workers and drivers are typically moved around the county when there's a shortage. The good news, there hasn't been a shortage or need for that here just yet. And make sure you download the KPIX 5 app to keep track of all the new daily coronavirus developments and breaking news.
Coming up next, a key member of the Trump administration who just said he's stepping down.
Also suing for survival. Bay Area business owners launching a new lawsuit tonight. Why a similar case is giving them hope.
There's so much proof out there that, in a sense, it's kind of ridiculous that we even have to do this.
Like, oh man, we got a game on my son's 4th birthday. That sucks. That was my first reaction.
And some good news for the Warriors, but it's apparently bad news for Draymond Green.
Then later, sad news for one of the Bay Area's most iconic restaurants, and not because of the pandemic.
This is horrible. This is a staple to San Francisco.
After some welcome rainfall over the weekend, we've got another chance of rain on the way this week by Wednesday night into very early Thursday morning. We'll track that with Futurecast, and we'll look ahead to the last weekend before Christmas coming up.
Draymond Green, James Wiseman, both practicing today for the Warriors after being cleared to fully rejoin the team. Head coach Steve Kerr said that both players will not play in tomorrow night's preseason game, but they are on track to be ready when the regular season tips off next week. Draymond has some thoughts on the Dubs beginning the year with 4 straight road games.
Like, oh man, we got a game on my son's 4th birthday. That sucks. That was my first reaction. And then followed by a game on Christmas, and I'll miss my daughter's first Christmas. That sucked too. But other than that, I have a job. I'm excited to be playing basketball.
Come on, tell us what you really feel. College football, Washington will not be able to play in this week's Pac-12 title game after a COVID outbreak that left them below the 53 scholarship players required to play. So with the Huskies out, Oregon, who finished second in the North Division, will now get to face USC on Friday.
And beware of big waves again tomorrow. Chopper 5 was over the Pacific Pier earlier today. Some beaches were seeing 25-foot waves today. A high surf advisory just expired at 7, but according to Surfline, waves will be 10 to 15 feet tomorrow at Ocean Beach.
Check in with Paul Hagan right now. Pretty soggy weekend. It was really nice to hear that rain at night. And boy, we needed it. Huh?
Yeah, not very often that we're thrilled with a rainy, wet, as you said, soggy weekend, but we so desperately needed the rain that it's exactly what everybody was happy to see, or at least most folks were happy to see. I don't want to put words in your mouth. Let's take a look at what we expect over the next few days. Chilly conditions tonight. Temperatures dropping down to the 30s inland with low to mid 40s around the bay. Just a tiny bit below average for this time of year. A sun and cloud mix on Tuesday, but still dry weather pretty much across the board Tuesday. A couple sprinkles in the North Bay. We'll look at that on Futurecast in just a second. The rain returns to the forecast Wednesday first for the North Bay, and then Wednesday night, that rain is going to move across the rest of the Bay Area. The second round of rain after the weekend's rain produced anywhere from well over 3 inches on Mount Tam. That was the highest amount around the Bay Area, but generally a half an inch to just over an inch of total rainfall. Over a half inch of rain in San Jose, 0.58 officially, and almost an inch and a quarter downtown San Francisco. Not too bad. And because that rain fell in a couple of different clusters, Friday evening and Friday night, and then again yesterday during the daylight hours, it was able to soak in without causing any debris flow concerns to those wildfire scars. And the next round of rain is going to be a similar story, but just really one good chance of rain headed our way Wednesday night. There are those sprinkles for the North Bay by tomorrow late afternoon. I don't think you're actually going to see much of that. There should be very few and far between, but we'll keep an eye on the radar just in case you have to adjust. We'll see the clouds thicken as we head through the day Wednesday, but most of Wednesday still looks dry, and then there's that better chance of showers moving into the North Bay before the sun goes down Wednesday afternoon, with the better chance of rain moving in a few hours after sunset. So there's the heaviest rain, and this is going to sweep through quickly, moving across the Bay Area during the overnight hours Wednesday night, and it should be mostly out of here before the sun comes up Thursday morning. Just a 20% chance of a couple straggling showers to start the day on Thursday, and then we'll start clearing out back to a mix of clouds and sunshine by Thursday afternoon. And that last weekend before Christmas, it does look like it is going to be a dry weekend. Looking outside right now, looking good as we look to the east over the Bay Bridge and towards the East Bay from Salesforce Tower. Temperatures are starting to drop off. 51 is a popular number right now, but it's down to 46 degrees already in Livermore, 48 in Santa Rosa, and those low temperatures will end up in the 30s in most inland parts of the Bay Area by early tomorrow morning, with mostly low to mid 40s around the Bay. Temperatures will warm up into the mid-50s by noon, even with the intermittent cloud cover overhead. We should be up to about 2 to 4, maybe 5 degrees above normal for tomorrow afternoon's highs, which puts us right around 60 degrees in most locations. Mid-50s along the coast, upper 50s to around 60 near the bay, and then right around 60 degrees, maybe a degree or two above in a couple lucky locations farther inland. 7-day forecast, not much variation to the temperatures. We will see that rain chance late Wednesday into Wednesday night, maybe a shower to start the day Thursday, and then skies should clear out. And then plenty of sunshine in store as we head into Saturday and Sunday, with temperatures still running about 5, 6, 7 degrees above average. I'll have a new run of Futurecast to look at and keep you updated on those Wednesday night showers coming up at 11 o'clock. Liz?
All right, Paul, thanks. Well, here's a look at your top headlines. A live look at the White House, where President Trump says his Attorney General William Barr is stepping down. The president praising Barr in a tweet saying, quote, "He has done an outstanding job." Barr says he will step down on December 23rd to spend more time with his family for the holidays. The news comes the same day the Electoral College confirmed President-elect Joe Biden's victory. Biden addressed the nation just hours ago, talking about the results and calling for unity.
In an act just as old as our nation itself. And once again, in America, the rule of law, our Constitution, and the will of the people prevailed. Our democracy pushed, tested, threatened, proved to be resilient, true, and strong.
Tonight, California is fining Uber $59 million. If Uber doesn't pay up, it could be suspended for operating in the state. It's all related to sexual assault cases that were reported through the app. The state wants to investigate those claims, but Uber doesn't want to turn over personal information of those involved. Uber says the California Public Utilities Commission, which regulates ride sharing, quote, has been insistent in its demands that we release the full names and contact information of sexual assault survivors without their consent. We oppose this shocking violation of privacy alongside many victims' rights advocates. Uber now has 30 days to pay the fine. And don't wait, tomorrow is the deadline for ground shipping from major carriers to get your packages delivered by Christmas. Greeting cards have to be mailed by the 18th. And Ken, from the 19th onward, there are pricier options for priority mail.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth. Coming up next, the last-ditch legal fight from some East Bay business owners, why they're teaming up to sue the state.
Nothing's a shock to me when it comes to injustice at the hands of the government.
It's sad. It's sad. I mean, that's what it's at.
Why a famous San Francisco restaurant is being forced to close down, and it has nothing to do with the pandemic. And then later, one Bay Area college hoops coach is about to achieve an epic milestone. What her team needs to do tomorrow night. Well, it truly is the end of an era. San Francisco's iconic Cliff House is closing for good. The current owners took it over in 1973 with a long-term lease from the National Park Service, but now they're told there aren't any more leases. The Park Service claims, though, that the restaurant requested to end the contract, which runs out at the end of the month. The Cliff House owners say the Park Service is evaluating whether it will be possible for the site to go forward as a restaurant.
This is horrible. This is a staple to San Francisco. I've been here since '97. When I flew here the first time in '97, I was meeting my husband at the time, who wasn't my husband. This was our first date.
I remember how this was before it was renovated, and now, and the new renovation is beautiful.
Another happy customer.
Another happy customer, yeah, they're closed.
It's sad. It's sad. I mean, that's what it's at.
Now at 7, a group of restaurant owners is suing Contra Costa County in hopes of reopening dining, at least outdoors. Those behind the lawsuit say there just isn't enough data that shows outdoor dining is spreading COVID-19. So 4 restaurant owners filed a lawsuit to overturn the ban. Today, a judge told the owners they have to prove they've been hurt by being shut down.
Is there really any doubt that these businesses are being harmed by this?
To us, there's no doubt, and to the government, there should be no doubt. However, nothing's a shock to me when it comes to injustice at the hands of the government.
The proof is all the rent checks that are late, right? There's so much proof out there that, in a sense, it's kind of ridiculous that we even have to do this.
The county says restaurants can still do takeout, so there is no, quote, irreparable harm. Another hearing is scheduled for Christmas Eve.
And coming up next, why this dunk from a Stanford player is a big deal, but something else that happened last night is even bigger. Women's hoops, Stanford sophomore Fran Believy, check this out. Woo! Becomes first woman to dunk in a college game since 2013. But she wasn't the only Cardinal trending last night. Head coach Tara Vanderveer tied Pat Summitt for the winningest coach in women's basketball history.
My dad, who's passed away over 20 years now, told me you don't win the Kentucky Derby on donkeys. And we have great players, and I've always had great players.
And down the stretch they come.
Vanderveer goes for the record tomorrow night. She's still got a chance to catch Duke's Coach K for the most wins by any coach, men or women, in the NCAA history.
Remarkable lady there. Well, thank you for watching. The news continues streaming on CBSN Bay Area.
We'll be back here at 11 o'clock. More local news for you. Have a good night.